Hey everyone, it's that guy from That Guy Gaming. I've been basically watching some podcasts on the GameStop Retro Initiative, and basically, if you don't know what that is, it's basically GameStop starting to buy and resell retro games. Basically, you would bring in controllers, game system games into the local store, and they would give you store credit for it, which they would take it back to the warehouse, do whatever they do to it, and then resell it on their website or apparently, I think they actually have a YouTube, or not a YouTube, but an eBay account. It's not named by GameStop, but it's named by something else, but GameStop does run it. So basically, I've been watching this guy's podcast about it, and it's kind of been pissing me off from the information he's been giving me. Basically, recent GameStop employees have been emailing him, or people who actually worked in the warehouse where they received these games. Basically, what they were doing is, say for instance, Joe Blow comes in and trades in a retro system, and it's screwed up, and you got these young folks that don't know shit about retro games or how to clean them, or that they could have a copy of Earthbound, and just because it doesn't work or boot up, they trash it, and all it needs is like a Q-tip or something. And basically what they were doing in the warehouse is, as long as they shoved it in and they saw a screen pop up, they assumed it worked. So they were having like copies of Earthbound, being swapped with Madden or just some ridiculous stupid game, or just cartridges being faked and stuff like that. And, there's reports of people getting like Conker's Bad Fur Day for Nintendo 64, and there was another cartridge inside of it, where they were swapping out the disc. And then it's like pissing me off, because they were saying, like, for instance, in the email they said a customer bought a copy of Earthbound, and he got it, and the person really didn't know a lot about retro. They were trying to get back into it, but basically he took it and returned it in the store, and instead of the associate or the person researching it and cleaning it, they basically took it out back and smashed it with a fucking hammer and threw it in the freaking trash can, or like controllers or stuff like that. Instead of, we all know like a Sega controller or a Nintendo controller can easily be cleaned as long as you pop it open and you know what you're doing. It's not hard. You look it up on YouTube, but like the associates that they're working with, they don't know shit, and they're taking in broken stuff and stuff that's not the actual game. Or like someone buys a controller and they just assume just because the buttons are a little sticky, that it doesn't work, and then you take it into the GameStop store to return it, and instead of them cleaning it like they're supposed to, or like a smart person would do, you can take a Sega controller apart with 3 screws and put it in some alcohol and a little bit of water and put it back together, and it's good to go. But they take it and at the end of the day, they take it and smash it with a hammer and destroy it. And it's like, I think the guy was saying, when they originally were going to try the retro initiative, they actually went belly up. Like, it didn't do so good. A lot of people weren't buying stuff. So they had all this merchandise and they couldn't move it, so they destroyed it. So it's really pissing me off. It really makes me not want to shop with GameStop, period. You can research it. You can look at the podcast. It's like I said, this guy was getting emails from recent GameStop employees, people who actually worked in the operations, who were overseeing these people. And then the email, the guy was basically saying that, there may have been one person in that storage unit that knew what they were doing, and that's it. Everyone else were either hired, unpaid, people that wasn't even in the U.S., or, people just didn't know shit about games. They had copies of Earthbound. Like, I think the guy said he had like 15 copies of Earthbound and pulled them because they were defective, and come to find out they just needed scrubbing, or the chip was replaced with something else. And it's crazy, guys. It kind of makes me not want to buy from GameStop. So if my advice for you, if you're out here and you want to try and trade some of your retro stuff in, I would say don't do it. Disperse it out into the community. Don't trade it in the GameStop, because They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're not trained like you're supposed to. And the email, the guy said, they're not going to pay these folks to train these people because it would cost more money. They'd rather eat, because, they're a Fortune 500 company. They rather eat the $100 or whatever versus, taking the time and paying somebody. See, like this right here, $200 game and someone gets it and it's fucking Madden, where it would have took 2 seconds for someone to pop it in the system, make sure it boots up and know what they're looking at and know the game, if they were trained properly. But these companies, they just don't care. So I would really think about before you buy from GameStop, and also really think hard and long before you trade your stuff in. Because it's like, if you're passionate about collecting stuff like I am, and I know most collectors are, when they trade this stuff in and a customer gets it and the customer assumes that it's broken and they don't know what they have, they destroy it. Guys, you can look it up. They got emails and everything. They destroy the shit. You've seen dumpster dives where they've taken, disc games just because there's one little scratch and cut it with a knife or something, and or a good strategy guide they couldn't sell. And then in the email, when they were originally selling PS2 games, they took all their PS2 games and destroyed them. They threw them all in the trash can, cut them up with discs, instead of trying to distribute them out into the retro collecting community, and help other collectors. They'd rather destroy it than give it to somebody that could probably use it. This is crazy. If y'all like this video, comment below, tell me what you think. If you're thinking about trading into GameStop, or since you watched this, maybe you're thinking a little twice about trading in with GameStop, or maybe you had experience with like this, you bought something and you got something and it ended up not being something. And then another thing, like the email said, like, basically when they sell their games, they sell them loose, no matter how they come. So you could go in and trade in a copy of Majora's Mask in the box with the manual, and they would give you loose price, ship it off to the warehouse, and basically if you ordered that and you got a copy in the box and you paid for that standard price, you just got lucky, or you ended up getting a gold cart or something like that. It's just crazy. These folks don't know what they're doing. They're underpaid and overworked. It's just crazy, guys. But like I said, if you're going to trade in the GameStop, or if you're going to buy from GameStop, do a little research. Think twice before you do it. I would definitely try to disperse into the community as far as retro gaming goes, instead of trying to sell it to GameStop, because they're just going to turn around and not treat it with the care that like we would treat it with. They're just going to end up probably either destroying it or burning it in a landfill. But like I said, if you had experiences like this, please let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you liked the video. If you're thinking about trading in some stuff to GameStop and you're not really sure whether you should or you shouldn't, let me know what you think. Thank y'all for watching the video.